The pipe bomb, your latest piece. This has been a fascinating story from the beginning because it was a big piece of what happened on January 6th, and then it kind of just got forgotten. We were told there was bombs planted at the DNC and the RNC, and we kind of knew. Was it the DNC? There was one we knew. There was a woman, right, who found it.
Yes, that's correct.
We knew about her, and she did a couple interviews here, but really not a lot of attention paid to that. We didn't have any idea, seemingly, who found the RNC bomb, or
the DNC
bomb. I'm getting it backwards. Sorry.
Right.
So, you know the story better than anybody. Walk me through it.
It's very simple. Just before the first barricade breach at the Capitol, which happened at about 12:53 p.m. Trump was still on stage. The first barricade, that was the famous Ray-Epps breach, and that's when they first started storming the Capitol, we'll call it. And just before that, minutes before that, there was a bomb found by this woman at the RNC. Nobody gets to see that because it was down inside an alley, so nobody really gets to see her from camera angles find that. But the Capitol Police Bomb Squad, they did everything by the book at the RNC. They cordoned off, they put out the police tape, they evacuated, they did everything that they were supposed to do by the book. But what's been withheld from the country for 3 years is the fact that over at the DNC, nothing was done by the book. Because just minutes after the barricade breach, approximately 1:05, is when this quote-unquote, for 3 years, we've been told that it was a passerby, walked up to, there was two cars parked in the driveway of the DNC. Now, that's actually the parking ramp. It's much larger than just a driveway.
Sure.
It's the parking ramp entrance into underneath the building. So there was a Metropolitan Police car and a Secret Service, one of the big black SUVs, parked in the driveway. And we also were withheld for a year that Kamala Harris, the then Vice President-elect, was inside the building when this bomb was found.
I mean, that's amazing.
It's amazing that they withheld that for a solid year. And that affected actual trials because in some of the J6 trials, people's sentencing and their charges were being enhanced because they were being told that they were attacking a building where the Vice President-elect was in, which was the Capitol, and she wasn't there. So they had to actually go back and do superseding indictments and remove that information from their charging documents. So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so back to the DNC. So this passerby walks up to the, casually walks up to the Metropolitan Police car. It's a SUV, and he talks on one side, and then he walks to the driver's side, and then he walks around casually to the passenger side. He talks there, and then he walks back around, and he comes to the Secret Service vehicle, and he talks to them, and then he just disappears. He wanders off, and so for 3 years he's been a passerby. And then the most inexplicable part of it all was that the Secret Service guy and whoever was in the car with him, they decided to finish their sandwich first before they got out. No, they had just been told there was a bomb, and that bomb was 15 feet from them.
Now, I've had some really good sandwiches in my life, Steve. So, I mean, could it just have been that good of a sandwich? I mean, I don't know that I've had a sandwich good enough to not freak out if a bomb was 15 feet away from me.
But I've heard you're a Taco Bell fan. So.
I am. Well, Taco Bell is another story. If I was having Taco Bell, then maybe I would.
You might finish it.
But this is like, number one, self-preservation, right? Like, there's a bomb 15 feet away from you.
Right.
Number two, we now know it was a Capitol cop. This is not just a passerby. Because, I mean, look, you could see a situation, you're around Washington, D.C., some crazy-looking person comes up, says there's a bomb, you don't believe them. Like, not normally how police would react, or a Secret Service certainly would react, but you could kind of understand how that would be possible. This is a D.C. cop of some sort, a Capitol cop, so credibility, right? I see a bomb, there's credibility there. And then add on to the fact that the Vice President-elect is inside the building. This has to be the ultimate top priority immediately. As good as the blimpy sandwich was, this is a time to skedaddle and make sure this bomb is taken care of immediately. That's not what they do. That's really suspicious.
It's very suspicious, and you hit the nail on the head. They should have been hair, teeth, and eyeballs coming out of the those car doors. They should have been immediately coming out. And as you said, if it had been just a regular schmo wandering off the street and said, "Hey, I think there's a suspicious thing or package over there," I could see, okay, the last 2 or 3 bites of your sandwich, and they shrug and they roll their eyes and they get up and go and do the thing. But they've got, as you said, they've got the VP elect inside the building, and this is an actual plainclothes Capitol Police officer who most certainly said to them, there's a bomb over here. It's got the timer on it, etc. Or did he? We don't know.
So we don't know what he said.
No, we don't know yet. Well, we don't know, but from my congressional sources, because I got this verified before we published. I had this verified from 3 different high-ranking congressional aides that were in the room when he was finally interviewed by congressional committee. And so they all verified that this was a true story. They do, in fact, know his name. And I actually asked for the permission to release his name on background, or however they would allow me. They withheld my permission to do that until they have the opportunity to spend more time with him, because they think he's going to be a credible witness going forward. Actually, some of the committees really liked him, and they think that he might have more to share, and they don't want to scare him off and have him, plead the fifth.
Mm-hmm. So what's the motivation here? Right? Like, I mean, I know it's a bit of speculation I'm asking you for, but like part of me that might struggle with this story a little bit is like, what's the motivation of a couple of Secret Service members to not react to this news? Why wouldn't they do this? What could possibly be the motivation?
Well, it's far worse than that, and this was revealed because Darren Beatty, he did a reveal on this, a very, very long and exhaustive story the day after my story came out, and what he showed was a much longer situation where it was lackadaisical by all of the officers that were arriving. Additional Secret Service, additional Capitol Police, additional Metropolitan Police. They never cordoned off the area. They never taped off. There were children and families walking within 10 feet of the bomb, and you don't see a single officer or agent of any type running over to those families and go, no, 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 get across the street. Come with me, come with me. They never did that. There's something wrong in that situation. Yeah. I'm prepared to tell you this, is that because of our time with Blaze analysts in the Capitol CCTV viewing room in D.C., we have much more coming that nobody has seen yet. And it's going to answer some of these questions, but it's going to make us ask a ton more, because nothing makes sense, Stu, in this situation.
It really doesn't.
No.
It's a fascinating story, and I know you've got more coming on it. When you get to this, I would love to have you back on to talk about it, because this is a story that's been developing, and you've been breaking basically every little piece of this, so thank you so much for doing that.